Hello to everyone and welcome to this video. With this being the first video that I have filmed in October, I wanted to do something especially spooky. Now, I know my entire channel is spooky, but I mean like Halloween spooky. And since Victoria Justice just released her song Love Zombie officially, I decided why not put the two and two together? Because trust me, this song has been on repeat. So, with some air dry clay, some armature wire, as well as a ton of aluminum foil, let's make Victoria Justice into an actual love zombie. Now, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button just so you can see any more of these weird figures that I make, and let's just get right into it. So first of all, what do I mean by turning Victoria Justice into a zombie? There's obviously the typical like green cartoon zombies, and then there's the gory messed up zombies. I'm going to be trying to do a little bit of a mix of both, and I also have taken some inspiration from the one episode of Victorious where she got the prosthetic stuck on her face. So those are my examples for that, and I'm going to be using the outfit from her music video where she had like the, I don't know how to explain it, but like where it was strapless and it looked like this and it had a bunch of chains. That's the inspo. I'm also going to be making her full body. It's not going to be as big as the monster chick I made last time because that was a bad idea. I'm going to try to get her main sculpt today, and that's one of the reasons why I also have the armature wire, because again, I'm trying to get this done in a reasonable way. I take every single video as a learning opportunity. I say, well, you can't even hear me because of the audio of me just crinkling this aluminum foil is ruining all of it. I'm also going to be in advance making her eye inset, just because this way later on they're already dry so I can sculpt around them, because I'm planning on trying to use some resin for this. Maybe. Also, this is going to be a different art style just because in the monster video I was going based off of like an anime figure. This time I'm just going based off of my own personal style. I also finally have sculpting tools, by the way. Like, I bought these with my adult money. I have them. So hopefully this makes the process a bit easier. And if it doesn't, then I spent $30 for no reason. Alright, so you see that they've got little divots in it now from the cap, but I'm gonna smooth those out with the back of a paintbrush because it's tiny. Alright, now that we've got those set up for later, they can dry over here while I get the armature wire to set up the rest of the body. Now, where are my wire cutters? Where did I put them? Where did I put this nonsense? Where are you? This is a nightmare of my own making, and for some reason I'm even more southern than usual. There's one thing I'll never be, it's organized. 1,000,000 years later. Found them. And I've also got one of these little guys. I'm going to be using this as a reference for the pose itself. Desire with the pose is to be like hot, but also like dangerous. You know, this is kind of like creating a real person because you got to do the skeleton first. This is low-key kind of a Frankenstein video too, with how the fact that I'm literally making a person. Fuck it. I'm gonna use the hot glue just to make everything stick together because this is hard. I don't know if other people do that or not. Maybe I'm fake. I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to do this. You may be wondering why I chose this video out of any of the other first Halloween videos I could make. Let me explain. The reason why is because I grew up watching Nickelodeon mostly. I was a Nickelodeon kid. SpongeBob, Victorious, iCarly, all those. But I was also thinking about it, and Love Zombie isn't the first time that Victoria Justice has been in a scary role. Like, we all know her from Victorious and Zoe 101, but I also vividly remember her in that one werewolf movie. Like, that was one of my favorite movies growing up just because of the vibes. So now, having her come out with Love Zombie right at this time, I'm like, you know what? This is perfect. Now, I will admit, she did go under my radar for a second because I was super into K-pop, J-pop, all those, so I wasn't really focusing on a lot of American artists, but recently they've been hitting. And also now, especially the fact that apparently this was Apparently with the fact that this was like self-published, that's so cool. I'm not a musician, I'm not a good singer, so the fact that everybody like has consciously decided, you know what, record labels you don't really need those anymore. because the music sphere has changed so much recently, especially with like TikTok music and everything getting super popular. Anybody with like the right talent and luck can just blow up and be like the next #1 musician ever. You don't have to go through all this hazing with some random creepo guy just being like, yes, you have to look at the camera and do this weird thing for me and then you'll be famous. So it's super cool that she ended up going the independent route. At least from what I know. Maybe I'm wrong. Do an editor's note if I'm wrong. Do an editor's note if I'm right too. Editor's note, I'm hungry. Okay, we've got the main body and the skeleton in there. Now I've got to wait for the hot glue to not kill me. Let me check on these. Okay, they're getting there. Oh, they split. Damn it, motherfucker. I will admit that is one of the downsides to air dry clay, that while it's drying, you've got to be like super careful and sometimes even like touch up on it just so it doesn't explode. I'm also really enjoying lately the fact that the early 2000s trends are coming back because that's what I grew up around. So being an adult and getting to experience those trends, including the recession, is super fun. Everything is fine. As long as I don't think about it too much. That's our skeleton. Let's do this. Also, sorry my table's a mess. I know. I do like the fact that this genre of music is coming back with like the general like club vibes. Because for a minute there, it was like just really overproduced pop stuff, which I mean, that's not an issue necessarily. But I like the more like, I don't know, more raw feeling music. But because of the majority agreeing with me on that, now they're also trying to mimic that authentic feeling in bigger media. So it's like, are you really a small hometown Midwest kid just trying to make it big, or are you an industry plant? Let's figure that out. Obviously, Victoria Justice, not an industry plant. But music in general is shifting a lot. It was actually a really smart move for Victoria to come out with everything now, because since people my age are now getting into that like nostalgic time where they're like, I'm fully an adult now. I need to have like some semblance of my childhood back. I'm dying here. But with that nostalgic factor as well as the openness for new artists right now, it was really perfect timing. Especially with the fact that other people are also releasing their album on the exact same day. And I will say this in a nice way, Victoria Justice's songs are a million times better than the things that I've heard from other people's albums. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like that with movies too, because it's always like the end of the year where everything pops, because that's whenever everybody's like wanting to spend more because of the holidays and all that. And since people are on break, they're more willing to be online and be active, so it's just a good time in general for creative people. That's also why I'm posting, woo! I say whenever I post literally almost every week, and I have been trying to do that the past couple months. Right now, I'm just trying to make the general bones of everything and get like at least the proportions out today. I might have to wait for it to dry and do this some other time, just so I've got all the features and the stability down. So I'm not like super worried about it being perfect right now, just because I'm trying to like mostly build out the pose and the body. So I'm obviously going to be sanding this down and doing the finer touches later, which includes the hands. I hate doing the hands during this phase. I got targets on my back. No, I don't. I'm a 20-year-old white kid in my room. I do not have ops. This is frustrating me because it's hard for no reason. Like, stay on the fucking wire. Why are you... It would be easier with Play-Doh at this point. Because at least Play-Doh's nice to me. Oh, no! Okay. Like I said, we're really just trying to fill it out right now. Let's try a different method for the legs just to see if this helps any with building the features out. So this way I'm going to flatten it out like this. Instead of trying to like just shove a piece around it, I'm gonna, excuse me, gonna go here Just wrap it around. Does that help any at all? Maybe. Let's see. Kind of. Way too much clay though. This is not what I need. Just pull that down. When in doubt, pull it down. Not like that. Keep your pants on. My hands are so dry. Sensory hell. Like I love air dry clay as a medium, but why? No, not the glue gun. God, get out of here. You're turned off, but get out of here. Hands. You know what? I actually have a hot take about the music industry. Lately, nobody's been killing it with the holiday music. Until now, with Love Zombie, obviously. And even then, although it's been posted around Halloween time, it's still like something you can listen to all year round. And I will be listening to all year round. But also like some ghouls and zombies, what? But like some stuff about ghouls and zombies and like all of these things, where's the Monster Mash? Where's the 2025 Monster Mash? Because the only monsters I'm seeing are on the news, and that bums me out. Bring back holiday cheer. Everything's all capitalism. Bring back the fun songs. These poor Macy's workers cannot keep listening to Mariah Carey for 3 months straight. Like, give them a break. Give something new, please. I also feel like although it's such a super popular movie, we haven't seen any, like, scary Christmas music. We get, like, some sad ones, but we don't see anything, like, messed up around that time, if that makes sense. Everybody's too worried about it being all clean and nice and cheerful. Like, no, I want spooky shit all year round. Hate me for that if you want to. We need a Halloween takeover. And even then, Halloween is not my favorite holiday. I don't have a favorite holiday. I don't mess with them like that. But I still feel like I would if there was better music around it, because that's like the main thing that I like. I just need a light wrap. Light wrap. Light wrap. Light wrap. Skinny person poems call them light wrap. Don't listen to me. I swear sometimes I just go full parrot mode and just start saying things that you wouldn't expect. I like how I bought all these tools and then I just go back to old reliable dusty paintbrush anyways. Okay, and then she has got heels on, so we're gonna make the feet arched. The fact that I may or may not have to make toes is kind of off-putting me, but we continue, we live. If you told me even a year ago I would be spending my Saturday morning sculpting Victoria Justice's feet, I wouldn't believe you. Just to make the pose a bit more interesting and dynamic. A little bit in the back for support. Okay. Cool. So this is the main, this is what it looks like right now. I'm gonna let it dry since this is just the bulk, not the bulk. This is just the general look. So I'm gonna put the eye sockets in, prepare that, and then just let this thing dry, and then I'll put the next layer on to start making it look like a real person. This is what she looks like right now. I will see you when it's a little bit more dry so I can do the next step. Okay, back in business, next day. This is what she looks like right now. She's all sturdy with it. Got the eyes also dry. I'm gonna have to sand them down. Dude, there is so much powder on my desk now from shaving this, it's kind of crazy. But I mean, everybody gets motivation somewhere. Nah, I'm just kidding. This one is way too big, like thick-wise. This one is just right. I think what I'm gonna do for this is, just because it's a zombie anyways, I'll have one hollowed out. And then it seems like it's on purpose. Now, something I'm going to do this time that I didn't do last time is what's called conditioning the clay. And that basically just means smacking it a lot. I'm also gonna add a little bit of water to this just to make it more malleable. Oh, careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. Okay, we're in. I mean, it does feel a lot more malleable now than just being straight. Now, we're gonna start sculpting again. Woohoo! Now I actually care about if there's any cracks in the sculpt, because again, before I was straight up just trying to get, like, the overall strength of the build in there, so I could mess around like this without worrying about the entire thing collapsing like last time. Part of me wants to talk about any, like, drama or backgrounds or rumors about the music industry, or like even Victorious, but I honestly don't care. Like, it has been so long, and I swear Victoria Justice herself is probably sick of it and is trying to get out of that image. Like, obviously everybody is like, yes, support it. It's like her main role that she's known for. But still, like, people aren't just what they're most known for. They're 3D, multi-dimensional beings. So I've made some references, but I'm not going to turn this into a Victorious video. I'm not going to turn this into a drama video. Like, I don't care. I'm just making art. Like, it's so weird whenever people are like, oh, this is like this. Oh, this is actually based off of that. Like, can people, like, I understand for some things. They gotta look more into it. But this is not one of those situations. It's a song. And it's a love song, too. Like, of course, everybody's going to have, like, love examples, and they'll be like, oh my god, is it about this person? I feel like that's, like, everybody's always wanting to make it about the artist themselves, when it's also supposed to be a way to connect with the people around you. And you're also supposed to be able to relate to the music yourself. So, I don't know. I feel like that kind of conspiracy thoughts around artists has always been, I don't know, just strange to me. I'm not really wanting to deviate much from the sculpt that I've already made, so I'm just doing thin layers over everything I've already built. I'm just doing, like, real thin layers before I make the clothes and the hair, just because I'm trying to get the main build down and, like, the dress and everything. Right now she's kind of giving cottage cheese, but she's gonna give sleek zombie goddess later on. Who knows, with my style, sometimes mess ups and cracks like that look even cooler because it gives more, like, depth to the character. And especially because I make monsters and zombies and creepy stuff, that it's also more forgiving to have flaws to it. That's how I feel about myself, too. Awkward. I'm a love zombie, you got me going crazy. Just one kiss and only you can save me. I'm a love zombie. I'm a love zombie. It's kind of crazy that she's a love zombie, because the only thing that makes me a zombie is having to wake up at 6 a.m. every day for work. Relatable! Another thing that would be useful right now if I made it was that, I don't remember what they call it, but like that clay water mix, so it's like way easier to just fill in cracks. I could use that, but I'm still trying to, like, build the right form, so I don't think that would be a good idea. Now, you know what would be a good idea? Subscribing to this channel, and also checking out my Ko-Fi. I have things that you can buy there. If you want one of these figures, you can also order one of those there. And if you're Victoria Justice, you can have this one when I'm done with it. Imagine, that'd be insane. I don't know what I would do if she saw this. I'm just kind of messing around here. But back to my topic that I was talking about the last time that I was working this, I really feel like there's so much potential for scary or, like, Halloween songs. Like, bro, if everybody came out with a Halloween song, shit would change the game. Like, right now, for Halloween costumes, the trend is with Ghostbusters. How am I supposed to bust it down to Ghostbusters? I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but I am afraid of my digital footprint. I say, when I'm made hot monster ladies. If any potential employers are saying this, I'm sorry. Not really. I am. Am I? Hire me. Having the little cracks and imperfections is also cool because it makes it look like rotting flesh. And I do know whenever I was checking out the song that this was a demo a while ago, but I'm wondering what her next, original song is gonna be. I say that like this isn't an original song. I mean like something like written to this day. Bro, this is so much easier setting it up with armature wire and having the pose ready beforehand. I don't know what I was doing last time, bro. So I got my little hand, little base, put it in the middle, form it around it. You can see the master of creating hands that I am. Whenever I showed this to people in my real life, they thought she was in a boxing pose, which I mean, kind of. Oh, fat fingers. Okay, this is the time that I actually need to use the sculpting tools, probably. I think one of my reasons for having clothes be one of the biggest difficulties for me is because I myself suck at dressing. Like, I try, obviously, but I'm not a fashion diva. I'm really not. I don't know, and even whenever I was watching shows growing up and I saw this, it was also like that layered stuff that was meant for children. So now as an adult, I'm like, I don't want to wear club clothes to work, and I don't go to the club. What do I do? So my solution is to wear sweatpants all the time, forever. Ah! Now it's too sticky. I'm in hell. Made little triangles. I'm gonna use these for this part. Because I also did not sculpt a chest for her because of this part. Now I gotta make the skirt, which again, super tight, the dress is. So this should be fine. Now the piece de la resistance. I don't speak French, but we're gonna shove this in there. So it already looks like she's eating it. It's already have it connected in this section. Both the hand and the heart. Hand over heart. Hand inside of heart. Now we're going to shove it back in there. There we go. Okay. This is where we're at right now. We got the heels, we got that, we got the heart. I'll see you next time on the third day. Hey, it's voiceover me for the rest of the video. When it came to the smaller details and everything, like the fingers, the hair, the extra little bits of guts and gore that I added, I just had to lock in and couldn't really talk to you guys at the same time. I also realized how much time it took to stop and talk because I just cannot focus on two things at once, unfortunately. And I did not want to have another fiasco of a single project taking 3 weeks like the Monster Girl did. So I just wanted to be able to lock in, get everything done as quick and as quality good as possible. As quality good as possible. Man, I'm tired. I'm doing this voiceover right after getting off of a shift. But yeah, as you can see here, I just was doing the final details, I was sculpting up her face. I had a bulging eye. It wasn't my main plan whenever I first started, but that's just how it went. And I mean, decomposing makes the eyes kind of pop out anyway, so kind of accurate. And you can see me, again, not using my sculpting tools that I paid actual money for, and just using the safe, old, dusty-ass paintbrush that I always use. Old habits die hard, I guess. But yeah, I'm just, getting the clay ready, and now I'm starting up her, what am I doing, actually? Okay, never mind, sorry. For some reason I rolled it out to do the fingers. I don't even remember recording this part. This was a week or two ago, I believe. I don't remember all the way. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, this is where I ended up sculpting her brain because I saw how flat the head was, and I thought that adding a brain would be a nice touch because, zombie. And then the next day was to specifically sculpt the hair. I kind of had issues with it just because with having a solid format like clay, it's kind of hard to make it look loose and flowy. I was tempted to use actual like synthetic hair, but I didn't want to go through all the effort of making wefts and everything. Like I'll try it and I'll do it at some point, but I really just didn't feel like it for this one. Also, with the fact that I used resin later on, I didn't want to have everything get all like sticky and weird and all that. And I mean, I feel like I did pretty good job with the hair, but if I do any like other hair textures or anything, I'm probably going to end up having to use wefts and fake hair. And then you can see her propped up while I'm just making my little mixture of clay and water. I still forget what it's called, and I'm still too lazy to look it up. But it's supposed to be really good for just smoothing everything out and filling out those tiny little cracks. And it did its magic. Like, it looks really weird while I do it, but it was genuinely so satisfying to watch it turn into like a smooth, like even surface. It was really cool. Except for one of her legs just did not want to stay together, and I just decided, whatever, I'm turning it into a prop. And even with her fingers, like, they just kept wanting to fall off. And like, I know it's supposed to be a decomposing body, but the sculpt itself is not supposed to be falling apart. So in the case of the leg, I made it a design element, but I mean, I didn't want her to miss any fingers because that would mess up the design for me, personally. I also talked a lot of game earlier about being a handmaster, so I didn't want to look like a fool on camera. Any more than I usually do, of course. Then you can see me here with my little dragon pants that it was time for all of these sanding down. This is just to make sure that she is primed and ready to go for all of the paint. I didn't film it, but I also sprayed her beforehand with my sealant, just so this way it was like as smooth of a base as possible. During the sanding process, I was also so worried that I was going to accidentally put too much force and end up making everything fall apart. Like here just now, the fingers kept falling off and I had to like readjust it. I was so scared to put too much pressure on it. But other than the fingers and having to reattach them, it worked out in the end, and I think everything looks super cool. I didn't want it to be like perfectly non-bumpy, silky smooth, just because that's not what my style requires. But I mean, it still looks cool. Obviously, it looks cool. I wouldn't make a whole video if it didn't look cool. And then the next day, we finally start the painting, the most satisfying part. During this, I was kind of debating if I wanted to do a natural skin tone and then just show a bit of decay, if I wanted it to be like a complete green, and I decided of like a sickly skin tone greenish in the middle. And then I ended up having some soft pastels later, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that when we get to it. As per usual, whenever I first start something out, I didn't care about the base color being messy or touching the hair or dress or anything. Just because, I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel like that makes it look a bit more cohesive, because that way having the underlayer be like the same skin color, it just mixes everything better. But that's just my excuse. But yeah, I got the base down, and then just to add some bit of like blushing to still show that there was blood flowing through the body, I just had some like red acrylic paint and just dabbled that over really, really lightly. I then added some shading and just some to like even out the redness with the brown color, and then blue because I decided to, I was just trying to give like the natural variations of shades that people have in their body to give it a bit of a more like realistic decomposing look. And yes, I know I suck with camera angles and keeping everything on screen. If I could just have like a GoPro and just stick it to my forehead to show everything that I'm seeing, I probably would. But I feel like my forehead would get too sweaty. I already have issues with forehead acne enough as is. And like, I love making videos for you guys, but I do not need more forehead acne. And then obviously I used the red as well for the brain and the heart and then the random scatters of blood that I put throughout her body. Some total BS AI transcript will probably flag this video as like being gore or harmful to people just because of the way that I talk about this. YouTube, I promise I'm talking about an air-dry clay figure in my room. This is not a real person. Anyways, Once I got the base down, I moved on to the hair and the dress. With the hair, I had similar struggles as I did earlier, just wanting to make sure that it still looked like natural and flowy. I didn't want it to look like just some random brown block on her head. So later on, I try to mix a couple more shades, just making sure that everything, looks naturally shaded, like looks like if we had these proportions that I worked with, that it would look like a real person. Does that make sense? Do I ever make sense? I don't think so. And then I honestly think coloring in the brain and the heart were my favorite parts, because with the sculpt itself, it gave some of that like natural shading. And then whenever I got the color variations and the highlights and the shadows and everything, it just popped so well. Like, I don't know, just weird stuff like that has always been the thing that I'm best with, apparently. But yeah, that was just the first moment of painting. I did have to take a break just to make sure that the base got dry, and then I switched over to the next phase, I guess. Now, this is when I started doing the dress. I wasn't too worried about having variations or a lot of shading or detail, just because it is a little black dress. And with the chains, rather than actually making them chains, I was debating cutting up a necklace chain and using that. I also just feel like the chains themselves would have been way too heavy, because with the silver tinsel that I did end up using, I just adhered it with Mod Podge, but I would have to use like super glue or hot glue or just some other fashion to connect the chains to it, and that was just too much. I didn't feel like it would look right, especially on such a small figure. And then now, unfortunately, my second mention of feet in this video, I am drawing on her shoes. I feel like I could have made them a bit more detailed, but I mean, nobody other than little freak weirdos are looking at some figure's feet. Including me, because I'm the one that made this doll in the first place. I also put that little black smudge on the back of her leg where the like separation was, because I wanted to give the extra depth of having the black on the inside of it. And the reason why I did that is because a lot of like Warhammer figures and just like tabletop RPG figures in general usually have a base of black, so that way everything looks more like intense and contrasted and all of that. And I feel like for an open wound like that, it's a good detail to have. And now that all of the base paint is done, I'm just going in with a paint marker just to make sure that everything is correct on her shoes and dress, as well as I drew on her eyebrows later on. And then once I've successfully got all that set up, as well as got an unnecessary amount of paint on my hands, I am just going in here and setting up for the soft pastels. Not the soft pastels, the hard pastels that I used the powder from. So I just set up with some acrylic highlights at first, just to give it like some extra depth, I guess. I don't know. My paint style is really just throw a bunch of paint in a bunch of different shades and like, I don't know, textures maybe? Just do it until it looks cool, basically. So I gave her some green for the zombie stuff, gave her some red later on for the blushing and the blood, some brown for shading and depth, and then yellow for some warm-toned highlights, because I believe she's a warm tone. I'm not huge on all that beauty stuff, but I think she is. And also because it's a green undertone because of the zombiness, I feel like yellow would be the correct highlight for that. Color theory is a theory, alright, and I'm messing with it in every way, shape, and form. Sometimes that gives me a bit of imposter syndrome, because I think, man, other artists probably think I'm a fucking idiot with all of the random things I do. And then I talk to other artists and I realize, oh yeah, we're all just like making up the rules as we go and just doing stuff that feels right. The only people that like majorly follow the rules are art professors, so they can tell you how to break those rules, and then some uppity people that think that art is just about the end point and not the journey. It's the climb! Sorry, I'm lame for that. I'm not even a Hannah Montana fan like that, for real. I just straight up remember the Smosh clip where they're singing it, and then it gets to like this edit that's actually like really cool. But yeah, anyways, not talking about Hannah Montana, we're talking about Victoria Justice. Completely wrong channel. But I don't know, I feel like the pastels were just a really good, like, addition just to give that extra, like, layer to the coloring so it wasn't so flat. And yes, I know from above the eyebrow looks silly, but everybody has their good and bad angles. Don't judge her. She's fine. You just need to look at her head on. Don't worry about it. It's just like me. I always put myself in horrible, horrible angles. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm talking over this after editing the rest of it, and I almost didn't upload this video because I was like, damn, my double chin went crazy for like the first half of this video. It's so bad. But you know what? I'm not a beauty influencer, and even if I was, I'm showing you realistic expectations of what a human body looks like. Screw you, society. Back on topic to what I'm doing though, this is where I set up the tinsel. I was having low-key such a hard time with it because even though I made everything sticky, it didn't want to stick. The stickiness is supposed to stick. That's the whole point of the sticky. Also, I may or may not have accidentally dried my Mod Podge shut, and I hadn't opened it in like, I'm not even gonna say the time because I'm embarrassed, but it's been a while. And I just straight up had to cut the whole damn thing open. I didn't even know if any of it was even like usable anymore. Thankfully it was, or else I have no idea how I would have gotten the tinsel on for this part. I either would have had to go to the store or get creative, and when I get creative, it's worse than don't hug me, I'm scared, if you know what I mean by getting creative. Man, I'm making so many weird references. I have no idea if any of you guys even get this. I'm chronically online. I'm just a weird little freak, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the tinsel already. Here's me struggling for the final pieces. I was trying to make it look more flowy like the actual dress is, but unfortunately it just would not stay like that, unfortunately. And to even get it to lay down properly in some areas, I did kind of had to overlap the body. And I didn't like doing that. I had to end up going with scissors later on just to like cut it up and make everything look like accurate. But I mean, I feel like I did pretty good. I tried my best with this, and yeah, everything dried. Then I came, what the fuck was that? I jump scared myself. What the hell? Stay spooky, folks. Even I scare myself. But yeah, like I said earlier, I had to cut off the extra tinsel, and I wanted to make it flowy and have some hanging off, but couldn't. Here's me just laying down the rest of the, like, they're not frayed, just the edges that didn't want to stick down that I forced them to with the Mod Podge. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Mod Podge is like, I don't know, this strange substance to me, because I don't know if it's glue or what. And then you see a little 360, and then I'm adding some blood spray. This is just so it has that like extra like messy effect to it. I added some to her leg, to her mouth, her hands, the heart, and then the brain, obviously, because, you know, it's brain. Then you see me mixing up the resin. Now, I will admit, I messed it up the first time and had to redo it later, but it's pretty much the same clip of just mixing this for 2 minutes, making sure that everything was correct, and then putting it into her eyeball and then everywhere that the blood was. But yeah, this was the final step, and now we can go into the outro and grand reveal. Hey, this may or may not be the second time I'm filming this because I accidentally deleted it. But you have now seen the whole process in making Victoria Justice into a love zombie, as well as my wacky shenanigans and random weird things that I say. So I'll go ahead, stop wasting any of your time. This video is like 40 minutes long, so let's go ahead and go for the reveal. Now, drum roll please. Ta-da! There she is. One of her heels did break off, but I just filled that in with some more paint because you know what? It's purpose. It's on purpose now. But here she is, just a little 360, have her do a little twirl. I'm super proud of it. I am super happy that you guys also stayed along for the journey because I know this is one of the longer videos that I have posted. But you know what? Go ahead and comment down below. Do you guys prefer the short form, the long form? Is there any other ideas of what you want me to do? I have been thinking about a rebrand just to have just like you guys pop in whenever I'm making art projects rather than it be about the art project, just because I know it takes a while for each one, especially because it's clay. If you like my work, then you can check out my Ko-Fi. I do customs and commissions there, so if you want one of these of your own, you can go ahead and check that out. I also have some pre-made stuff for sale as well. If you are Victoria Justice, you can email me directly and I will give her to you for free. If Victoria Justice saw this herself, that would be insane, but I digress. If you liked this video, if you liked this process and everything, you can hit that subscribe button to see every other wacky shenanigan and art project that I have. You can also hit that like button because that gives me the sweet, sweet dopamine to keep making these videos. As I spoke about before, you can check out my Ko-Fi. Any other artists, you can go ahead and eat your heart out, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye! Woo!